Hey there, in this video, I'm going to show you what you need to do to seal the wood before epoxy. A lot of people make the mistake of not sealing the wood properly and then they end up with a mess on their hands. So watch this video carefully and you'll be able to avoid that disaster. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful videos like this one. Sand the wood surface to remove any dirt, dust, or debris. Before sealing a wood surface with epoxy, it is important to make sure that the wood is properly prepared. This means sanding the surface to remove any dirt, dust, or debris that might interfere with the binding process. Once the wood has been thoroughly cleaned and prepped, then you can start applying your epoxy sealant. Always be sure to spread the sealant evenly over the entire surface for maximum protection and lasting results. And if you are working on a particularly large or complex project, you may need to apply multiple coats to achieve full coverage. By taking these steps before sealing wood with epoxy, you can be confident that your project will stay looking great for years to come. Wipe the surface clean with a damp cloth. When sealing wood before applying epoxy, it is important to make sure that the surface is clean and free of dust and debris. One easy way to achieve this is by wiping the surface with a damp cloth. This will help to remove any dirt or other impurities that may be present on the surface, allowing your epoxy to adhere more effectively. Furthermore, it is generally recommended that you also sand the wood slightly before applying your sealant, as this will help to create a smoother and more uniform base for your epoxy coating. With these tips in mind, you can be sure that your epoxy will effectively adhere to your wooden surface, producing a long-lasting and durable finish that preserves the beauty and integrity of your wood for years to come. Apply a coat of wood sealant to the entire surface. Applying a coat of wood sealant across the entire surface of the wood helps to create a barrier that protects it from the potentially damaging effects of the epoxy. This step also helps to ensure that your finished project is smooth and even, without any unwanted bubbles or cracks. Additionally, sealing your wood before applying epoxy will help prevent imperfections like discoloration or warping that can occur over time as a result of changing weather conditions. So if you want to make sure your completed project looks great and lasts for years to come, be sure to seal your wood first before using epoxy. Let the sealant dry completely. If you fail to seal the wood properly, there is a chance that the epoxy could compromise the integrity of your material and result in cracking or warping over time. To ensure that your wood surface is properly prepped for epoxy, you must allow the sealant to dry completely before applying any additional layers. The length of time required for drying will depend on the type of sealant used, so be sure to follow any specific instructions provided by your sealant manufacturer. Overall, however, it is generally recommended that you wait at least a few hours or even overnight before proceeding with epoxy application. With adequate sealing and adequate preparation, you can rest assured that your materials will stay strong and intact under pressure. Apply epoxy resin to the desired area. Whether you're working with raw wood or already finished surfaces, it's important to ensure that your substrate is as smooth and clean as possible. This will prevent any imperfections from showing through the coating, and will also help to create a stronger bond between the epoxy layer and the underlying material. One effective way to prepare wood for epoxy is by sealing it before application. This can be done using a variety of different methods and materials, such as oil-based sealants or non-toxic clear coatings. Sealing the wood first will create a protective barrier that helps to protect against moisture uptake, while also giving the epoxy resin a clean surface to grab onto. Overall, ensuring that your wood has been properly sealed before applying epoxy can be key to achieving a beautiful and long-lasting finish. Use a putty knife to spread the epoxy evenly over the surface. Before applying epoxy to your wooden surface, it is essential to seal it first. This can be done using a putty knife to spread an even layer of epoxy over the entire surface of the wood. The key is to avoid leaving any gaps or uneven spots in the sealing layer, as this can lead to cracking or other problems down the road. Once you have a nice, smooth layer of sealant, allow it to dry fully before applying your epoxy. With the right preparation and techniques, you can ensure that your epoxy adheres well and lasts for many years to come. Let the epoxy dry completely before using or handling. The wood needs to be free of dust, dirt, and debris to ensure good adhesion between the two materials. Additionally, epoxy needs time to cure and harden before it can be used or handled without risk of damage. It is important to allow the epoxy plenty of time to dry completely before attempting to work with it, or it will not bond firmly. Ultimately, taking these steps will result in an ideal finished product that is strong and long-lasting. Whether you are a professional woodworker or just a hobbyist looking for a fun new project, sealing your wood before using epoxy will ensure a beautiful result every time. Sealing wood before using epoxy is important to ensure a strong bond and long-lasting finish. There are a variety of methods that can be used to seal wood, such as oil-based sealants or non-toxic clear coatings. Subscribe to our channel for more DIY tutorials. And don't forget to comment below and let us know what you think.